Also, should we split some fries?
Yeah, let's get those to go.
Eat that one first.
He ate this corn.
I ate this one.
Right.
He ate that one.
Yes. Right.
I ate this one.
Yes.
Right. He skipped that one.
Maybe I didn't want them. Maybe I wanted
He
the corner.
skipped that one.
I went to the corner.
Stood up and took mine.
我们不是警察。
Was that Chinese?
Hello and welcome back to Wish for Death Island Population Me, and do not worry, this is not how you're gonna hear me talk for the video. I recorded the actual video itself ages ago, and I was just, you know, trying to find time to edit it and stuff, and then I ended up getting sick, so this is why I sound like this. And I'm not going to talk for super long because it hurts, but I just wanted to say that I started doing commissions for the first time ever, and I've always wanted to, but I got really nervous because I thought I wasn't good enough as an artist. But opening the shop has really helped me mature as an artist and feel good about what I do, so I decided that I could finally give it a try, and waiting wasn't really something that I should be bothering with anymore. So yeah, obviously you can see that both safe for work and not safe for work is welcome, though obviously I do safe for work normally. It's just I'm not too bothered with certain types of not safe for work. It's just, you know, you can read the rules on the thing if you want to commission me, and you'll figure it out. So well, really that's all that I wanted to say. When I actually get my voice back, videos will just continue as they usually do. I was thinking of doing another Velma because people really seem to like that one and it's pretty funny. I don't know how that show got renewed for a second season, but I'm not going to say money laundering or anything. Anyways, enjoy. So, a little recap on what happened in the last 2 episodes of She-Hulk. We got this explanation about how she got her powers, aka just, you know, it happened and she just knows how to use them, so it doesn't matter. And she got the Abomination guy as her case, but he apparently broke out of prison to do some fighting rings, so it's really harming her case because she's supposed to get him free and on parole or whatever because he is like not evil anymore or whatever.
And all them fucking designer drugs they make today and
So this episode opens, she goes to prison to see this stupid ass and explain to his stupid ass that he's breaking out of prison to do fighting rings and ruining his entire case, because no one is gonna believe that he turned a new leaf when he is using his form to go and fight people. But then he reveals that it wasn't him who went and did these things. The guy who forced him to break out was named Wong. Just Wong, and he's a sorcerer. She faces the camera to say that this isn't a villain of the week type show, as she's going to try and contact Wong, but it totally is then, because she says it is.
I just want to make sure that you don't think this is one of those cameo every week type of shows. It's not. Well, except Bruce and Wong.
And then there's some horrible fake internet talk show about how she's an affirmative action superhero, which she literally is, because this show did not need to be made, actually. And a lot of people online are criticizing her by saying that she didn't need to do any of this because she's a woman and we don't need any female superheroes. They're basically parodying a bunch of stupid internet people and making a bunch of like strawmans. Okay, listen. I know that there's probably some idiots out there who just say a bunch of stupid shit, but most of the people that they're parodying are probably just normal reviewers who seem to want quality control, and they're basically using the arguments that you get. You know, when you look, if you're into comics or something, I'm not into comics, but I have seen a lot of videos still of people saying that the quality control has gone way down because of a lot of the diversity like nonsense in them, and that is completely true. There's a lot of just storylines that are completely ruined because they're too focused on propaganda, and the characters aren't likable. They don't go through any trials or tribulations. They just seem to bitch at everyone and openly stomp on the heroes that came before them in these comics, sometimes killing them because of the, you know, metaphor behind it, and no one likes it. So these are basically like meta commentary of a bunch of people being like, you know, misogynist critics because they simply don't like the product. The amount of fourth wall breaks that this show does, it's essentially just the creators making a bunch of bullshit moany complaints about people not liking their shit and then loosely wrapping a superhero package around it. And the result is She-Hulk, where these reviewers say all of these things, but then she goes on to prove their exact point. Her stupid friend says that she needs to respond to control the narrative and do all of the interviews. And so she's saying, and the show's grand message is to feed the trolls and constantly respond to them because being terminally online is good and girl boss. Shonk gets called into the office. Her boss is saying that he needs help because of this dude bro from her previous office. This is that chauvinistic guy who no one likes. He immediately flirts with the other female lawyer who also walks in and swiftly walks out because he's a horrible, horrible white man and cannot have a real character whatsoever.
For human law to be.
Yeah. No, I can't talk to a 10 about embarrassing man stuff. She could be my next fiance.
Hey, the big man's back.
Basically, he bought his girlfriend a bunch of shit like sugar daddy level crap and then says something that sounds like subscribe to her OnlyFans?
Besides,
Subscribe.
Now he wants all his money back. The reason why he wants all his money back and broke up with her is because he was actually dating some shape-shifting elf who transformed into some popular pop star whore called Megan Thee Stallion or whatever. I guess she does rap music and people like her, so they put her into this show. I don't really know about these things, but somehow he managed to believe that he could be with a famous person like her, who I guess is supposed to be put up on this pedestal like an amazing, sexy, awesome person that everyone should like. I'm assuming that that's what's going on. But then they proceed to joke about how he can't possibly believe that he pulled this person, laugh at him, which, I mean, yeah, he was painted to be a shitty character, sure, and he is a shitty person, but ultimately what happened is he got catfished and the person was with him the entire time, pretending to be someone that they want and shape-shifting to, you know, do that kind of thing. He didn't really consent to being with them, he consented to being with the catfish, which is really bad. And he went through some shit, but, you know, they don't care because he's just a person that they don't like. But if it was a woman who was going through a catfish situation, the show would definitely paint her as the victim instead of just blaming her and using it as some sort of comedy thing, right? Anyways, Wong the sorcerer shows up, so they gotta talk about stuff. He says he was the one who made the evil man Abomination break out of prison to do the fighting ring, and he has to be pulled in as a witness.
Strategy B.
Don't tap your nose.
I don't know why tapping his nose is a bad thing. I do that. Oh no, am I the cringe? The dude who was dating the shape-shifting idiot says that he spent a lot of money on her, about 175k. What was that handshake? Is this supposed to be some sort of dig at people or something? I'm confused. But he, obviously the shapeshifter, immediately comes back in and says that he doesn't want to do the case anymore because it shows that he has learned his lesson and he needs to keep it as a story to tell. So she shapeshifts back into an elf and runs out saying that the people in here harass women in the workplace because every single man is a bad person. I hate this show.
I love harassing women in the workplace. It's my kick, baby.
So it's time for the trial so that Abomination can go free. The white dude is grumpy and just wants to leave, but the wise black woman is like, no, hear him out. A stupid idiot simp harem that Abomination has gotten himself online all show up to support him, and they try really hard to be funny, but it's not funny.
Fucking lemons now! That was the best fucking drug ever made! It was so fucking good, the government took them off the fucking—
Wong shows up and says that he got Abomination to break out of prison because of a kumite. I thought the internet stopped doing those. They go back to the trial where the elf is acting like a fucking sovereign citizen, and the stupid man decides that he wants to cancel his subscription to some whore website because he's a whore, and every man is a whore, and he says man whore things in the courtroom because he's a whore.
And when this is over, I'm canceling my Hollywood hookup subscription.
Meanwhile, Abomination transforms because he is showing that while he is in monster form, he is still control of himself and he does not want to hurt anyone, and everyone starts screaming. They decide to do their verdict thingy and they'll get back to us soon. On the way out, Shonk gets hounded by the media and protesters with more stupid rumors and stuff, and she is told by her friend that she needs to do interviews now, otherwise it's gonna get even more out of control. Then the lawyer for the elf thingy says that Shonk and friend need to show up to say horrible things about this man because that's the only way that he's gonna win the case. So they go to court and they insult him, they call him misogynistic and say that he is dumb enough to be catfished by some stupid pop star whore. And the lady, who I guess is the real life pop star, shows up in court to make weird tongue noises.
That's right, there's only one Megan Thee Stallion. Next to mine.
The things that I'm saying sound like they're not real sentences. They sound like they don't make sense, but this is apparently pop culture. I don't know who this person is. The only reason that I think I may have heard of them before is some stupid pop song that was like them gyrating on stage and people liked it for some reason, but she's making stupid noises that are apparently like trendy and sassy. I don't understand why. I think it just sounds stupid, but apparently I'm the one that's out of touch, and I would prefer to be that way because I don't understand this. But anyway, the verdict for Abomination is now back, and he will be free. He's gonna wear an inhibitor and do whatever he needs to do to control his powers. And She-Hulk, Shonk, finally does an interview, and it's boring and no one cares. But some idiots try to jump her and she beats them up, so they jump back in a car, and they needed her blood for some boss. I'm sure the payoff for who the boss is not going to be really fucking boring whatsoever. And yeah, the twerking scene happens. Listen, I can't, okay? I can't.
And when you had an orgasm, you thought you were on a fucking move!
So in episode 4, it opens with some dumb Chris Angel looking ass doing some, you know, magic shit. He looks like one of those cruise ship magicians. The bar is full of people who are drunk and don't give a fuck because they just don't care about his lame tricks. So he asks some dumb drunk bitch to show up and do some things on stage. She is just as bored as the crowd, so he sends her through a portal to try and wow the crowd, and she ends up at Wong's place. I know she's meant to be an annoying character, but boy, she goes beyond that with how annoying she is. They hang out because she's just, you know, obnoxious, and it cuts to Shonk, who talks to the camera about Twitter, because this show definitely isn't hurt by all of the trolls giving criticism by how bad their show is or anything.
God, everybody loves Wong. It's like giving the show Twitter armor for a week.
Her dad gets angry at her for not calling the police on the thugs that tried to kill her, but she tells him to fuck off and joins Not Tinder because she needs some dick.
Dean, and they changed it to lemon, I tell you!
Wong then shows up and says that he needs to hire her to do a cease and desist on the Chris Angel looking ass who used the portal and sent in drunk girls to his place. What the fuck does this paralegal even do? She just sits around being a girl boss. Wong says that his magician school does not have any legal written contracts, and all of their stuff is kind of mysticism, and the idea that you're not supposed to use your magic for cheap tricks is just purely part of the principle. But because this is the legal American system and it's a proper legal defense in court that needs to be made before you can actually go around suing people, you can't really use the whole, you know, principle thing if it's not written down anywhere. But one of the things that he's suing for is that Chris Angel is just sending drunk whores everywhere using the portal, and he could hurt people by just sending them into the middle of the ocean or something. But for more important matters, they cut to dealing with the dating profile, including an interruption from some random guy approaching them at a bar to say hello. They call him gross and then he leaves, and yeah. Shonk needs to spice up her dating profile because she's looking like a stiff academic. I guess I don't really want anything to do with online dating profiles. They all seem like horrible places, but I guess this is a plot that trendy women do.
Oof. Hetero life is grim.
Nikki.
Comedy. She goes to do a cease and desist delivery to Chris Angel and serves him the document, leaves before he starts hitting on her because obviously all men are gross and immediately want to date her because she's so amazing. Her first date on Not Tinder is some weird hobo looking ass who sells drugs or something, and she's getting really bored, he's on the phone, and they just leave. They need a witness for the magic court case, so they send in that stupid whore from before. They act like they didn't plan on having her as a witness, which is retarded to me, because Shonk claims to be an extremely competent, awesome lawyer who is just all about this shit, right? Why on earth would you not plan to at least have this person as a witness because you know that she's directly involved? She is one of the only people that you know that is directly affected by that stupid portal shit that Chris Angel did. You know that you need her, and even if you ended up not needing her, you would still prep her just in case you did, because you want to look professional. Why on earth do they just have her stumble in all fucking drunk? If Shonk was actually a proper lawyer worth her shit, she would have this woman sober, cleaned up, dressed up properly, have all of the questions prepped to prep the fucking witness so she would actively be there and be able to do all of these things properly. What a fucking retard.
Quaalude!
The lawyer who's doing the Chris Angel thing looks like a rooster. Chris Angel gets up because he gets insulted and starts acting like a JoJo villain because Wong called what he did not real magic. Wong gives some speech about how the universe could be affected forever because of magic tricks and no one fucking cares because the entire crowd are toddlers and they like the magic tricks that this guy is doing to distract them from, you know, being in a courtroom. Is this how the show writers think adults act? Is that why they all act like children themselves? Anyways, the case is going to come back in a few weeks, and during this period, Chris Angel is still allowed to do his magic tricks because the court doesn't think that it's serious enough. So they kind of just, you know. Shonk is sitting home alone doing normal people things, and she gets depressed because today is Friday night and she's at home in her pajamas, which seems perfectly normal and adult because she needs to do things and work and also rest and be comfy in her own home and not have to deal with obnoxious people, but she needs to be a trendy party girl because her friend is bugging her on the phone. So she turns into Shonk and makes some dating profiles as Shonk while some terrible music plays. She says she's ashamed of it, but she needs dick so badly that she's willing to do it. Everyone sucks on the dating app, but then she meets some weirdo who actually likes her for her. He's all dreamy because he wants to talk about her instead of him, so she immediately wants to fuck. She wants to fuck now. Chris Angel is doing some magic and makes some mistakes by giving birth to Dobby Gremlins. I'm just gonna leave that sentence as it is. He kicks them into a portal, but more come out, because of course. Shonk is about to get it on with this weird dude. She has to jump in to beat up a bunch of demons. I guess it's not that big of a deal because she keeps cracking jokes the entire time, so it must not be that big of a deal, but regardless, she makes them sign the cease and desist because they almost killed everyone and then goes back home to peg her man. I mean that because she lifts him up and, you know, he's probably into that. But the next morning, she's all happy and in human form again, and he leaves because he's not into that. He wants his weird green lady. He wants to fuck the green M&M, and when she turns back into a human, he's fucking out of there. However, there are more issues on the horizon because the influencer lady is trademarking the name She-Hulk and suing Shonk because even though it was Shonk's name first, she trademarked it first or whatever, so I guess they have to deal with that for the next couple episodes. Boy, am I looking forward to wanting to fucking kill myself while watching the rest of this series.
I went to the corner. Stood up and took mine.
The stupid Instagram whore that we've heard about is named Titania, and she launched some overpriced beauty product garbage using She-Hulk as a brand. Now Shonk is having a big moment about this because she's being bombarded by advertising everywhere she goes that has this name on it. Her retard brother breaks into the apartment and says that he's selling some merch using her likeness and she needs to sign them all, but she wants nothing to do with it because she's too busy gulping down that little baby's ground organs. So her brother tries to mansplain how copyright works to her, so she decides to go into Titania's meet and greet to show her stupid girl boss friend what the trouble is. I'll give the show this. It looks just as bad as these makeup guru things usually look to me, so I guess good job. Lip plumper, serum, all that stuff the same to me, so I don't know what the, you know.
Beauty oil. Beauty tonic. How are these not all exactly the same thing? Are you kidding me? They're completely different.
The stuff I agree on with the show basically stops there. She has the worst wig I've ever seen in my life, and the show budget is so bad I genuinely don't know if that's on purpose or not. But when a fan takes a picture with her, she takes up most of the picture because she's a bitch, and yes, she's meant to be shown as a bitch, but the thing is, the fans of the show and the celebrities that support this kind of ideology basically are this woman. They're making fun of themselves here, but they don't see themselves as this woman, but everyone else does. For example, yeah, Bruce, you've been through a lot and almost died many times, but I have had catcalling issues in the past and I get my period, so that's worse. I look good because I care about being a girl boss to the point it impacts my job and saving other people, but I'm still better than you. It's all about me, and I'm a good person because I say I am, and you're a bigot if you disagree. But afterwards, Shonk tries saying that she is not She-Hulk anyway because she hates the name and she's not over it. Then she's clearly not over it anyway because she crushes her stapler? How many times does this kind of thing happen? Do you break office supplies on the regular without realizing because you don't have control? Especially the control that you think you do? Because that seems like a problem. So this bitch is gonna buy some makeup, but she also needs to do some favors for this weirdo character who wants her to go buy shoes with him. She says in return he needs to pull in some connections by getting someone who does fashion for freaky monster people like Shonk. Oh no, there's gonna be a fashion montage, isn't there?
Excuse me.
What's happening, Nick?
One to rock and one to stop.
Oh, God!
Okay, so you're telling me that you collect
No, God,
shoes,
please,
drip
no,
broker, find someone who
no.
could do custom clothing for sale.
Is it just me or does everything this dude says sound like he's really creepy? He sounds like he's high out of his mind. They go to some boba cafe that's actually a front for the secret fashion man. So the Asian man goes behind the red curtain and that's the fashion place is in there somewhere. I don't understand. I guess the guy hides himself because he only wants the top tier clients and makes a fuck ton of money. I don't know, I don't understand fashion, but the Asian man has to make them buy bootleg merch first to get them there. I guess that's his racketeer thing. Good job, hustle. This appointment thing happens. I guess it's supposed to be funny, but the stupid mean fashion man is like Meanwhile, Shonk gets pulled into her office and talks about how Titania the whore is making products with her name, but it isn't really her name and it's not her fault. I don't really know how she hasn't addressed this before. You don't think this would be important for you to tell your employer when your freaky face is part of his company? But he doesn't want to hear the story because he's a mansplainer, even though it would be in his best interest to hear the story and he would want to hear about it, so I don't know. So she gets some other bitchy lawyer as part of the superhuman team who does something or other, and says that part of the countersuit to defeat the whore is to dress properly. Titania is basically being a bitch in the courtroom as well, but the judge doesn't scold her. Everyone is dumb, but there's a bunch of gay dudes in there in the secret fashion room doing some things with the suits. I guess this is like the secret fashion league. The lead stupid idiot makes fun of them and says that he doesn't want to talk to Shonk, but she just shrinks and then he's like, oh my god, amazing, I have to make you clothes. On the way out, she runs into some loser she met before in the dating episode and she didn't like him, but then she folds and is like, oh, I'll go out with you again because she's socially inept. She's more socially inept than me. Just say you're busy, you're a lawyer, of course you're busy. But then that makes her realize that the people that she dated all wanted to go out with her because she's Shonk and they knew her by Shonk, so they have to get these people into court. All of the people who dated her arrive at court and make her sound like idiots, but they also sound like idiots, so I guess they're a good match after all. But the idiots win the case. After this, Titania makes some threats, but otherwise, the case is won. So, her and the bitchy lawyer go for drinks and make fun of men on the internet because women... But the wise black lady is still kind of mean, I guess. She also is like, oh, camera, audience, I need to get my clothes, haha. We haven't really did the fourth wall thing this episode, so I guess I gotta do it now, ha ha ha.
Hey, the big man's back!
Schnipp, schnapp! Da, ja! Ich bin Schnappi, das Krokodil! Komm aus Ägypten, direkt am Nil! Ja! Und Schnappi ist so verletzlich! Denn wenn ich schnapp, den fress ich! Zum Schnappen bin ich!